Welcome to Stitches and Sundries. This is a Flosstube or a podcast about cross stitch and other stitchy goodness. And I have completely forgotten how to do this, so bear with me. If you're new with me, it always sounds like this. I always and I am a mess. This is all I can do. My name is Lauren. You can find me on Instagram at LaurenUpStitching, where I periodically remember to post. I'm really bad about it. And I've been away for a little while. If you can hear it in my voice, I was very sick. About the time I should have recorded my last podcast, I had bronchitis so bad I could barely talk. I wasn't doing any stitching anyway. And that had me down for about 2 weeks. I thought I was over it at like a week, and I went into the doctor because I couldn't shake the cough. I will cough in this. I'll try and edit around it, but I'm not great at that. And the doctor was like, you sound pretty sick. I was like, oh, I think I'm getting over it. She's like, I don't think you are. Like, that's really deep in your chest. And I was like, oh. And then 2 days after that, I was down again. So it was a very frustrating time. So I didn't have much to show. So I just was like, I'm dead anyway. Might as well give myself a little more time here. And then my car broke down this past week. I recorded a whole podcast on Wednesday, was having some technical issues. And in the middle of me working, I was working from home, I was doing some other things. And my car also started having issues. And so my mental capacity to deal with anything just went into the toilet. It was I can work and I can try and get this car fixed. All other things have to go to the wayside. So that was fun and interesting and expensive. Love that. But all things are fixed. I am on the mend. I have cross stitch to talk about. If you are new and just finding me, because it seems like whenever I go away for a little while, YouTube is so weird. If I am regularly uploading, excuse me, if I'm regularly uploading, I'll grow here and there. If I take a break and upload again, YouTube pushes me to way more people. It's a very strange system. So if you're new here, if this is your first episode with me, I'm Lauren and I am a mess. But I love to stitch, and I'm going to talk about cross stitch, and maybe it'll be interesting. Who knows? I'm also a mystery stitch box addict, so I do some unboxings. And if you've been here with me for a while, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. It makes my day to hear from you. I swear I am stitching in the comments who just binged most of my history crazy. You are a crazy woman and you're awesome, and I super appreciate you. And if I haven't, and I'm going to respond to every single comment, I think. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Hopefully I edited that out. And it made me go back through some old videos, some of which are pretty cringe. I don't think I've grown any though, so this is also probably pretty cringe. So, oh well. So today I have one fully finished object from a while ago that I just fully finished. I have one finish, and I have one whip and 2 new starts. That's a pretty good variety of stuff, isn't it? So let's get into cross stitch. All right. So first, let's do fully finished object because it's got to go up on my wall. So this is, oh gosh, where's my notebook? Oh, I don't think it's in this one. I don't think it is. All right, we're gonna have to test our memory. It's not good. I basically have Alzheimer's. This is from the Sabbat Teapot collection by, I think it's AnImCrossStitch. I will double check that and put her name on the screen. I've seen a couple other artists also carry it though. And I finished stitching this earlier this year, or oh my gosh, maybe even late last year. And I just have never gotten it fully finished. So now I have. It is fully finished. And so this, picked up a bunch of crud. So this is a piece of Purple Heart wood that I just had. My uncle, it works in like cabinet making. And so we kind of have all these weird offcuts of wood. And I have used command strips to command strip my board with my teapot on it, because I'm going to do the whole collection eventually. And the idea is that I would just pop off this one and pop on the next one. That's kind of like the goal. So I finished this. I stitched this on 28 count vintage smoky white linen from 123 Stitch. I used all the called for flosses. And it turned out so beautifully. I'm going to try and, my camera doesn't like to zoom in on things, so I'm just like, and so I finished it on, oh, you know those really thin canvas boards you can get at like Walmart? And it's just like a piece of thick cardboard. It's got canvas and like it's painted white. That's what I used as the base, and I stretched the stitching over that. And then I used this really beautiful blue wintry, it's not rickrack, but it's some kind of trim around the edge. And if I'd thought ahead, I would have rounded my corners, but I didn't think ahead, so that's life. And then the stuff just doesn't quite meet up. Just doesn't quite meet up. So I was like, okay, I need to cover this corner. So I put some faux, obviously, but spruce, because the spruce is in the is a Yule traditional Yule foliage, a little pine cone, and then I had these awesome wooden snowflake buttons that I sewed through, and those were just like the last little tidbit. So this is complete. I love it. It's going on my wall for the season. And yeah, I definitely want to get another one of these out. I got the whole set as a gift from the awesome Anna Stitches Autumn. Check her out on Instagram and check out the Halloween Challenge Facebook group. She stitches, she runs this awesome Facebook group where it's all about Halloween and autumn stitching. Fantastic. Love it. And yeah, so I definitely want to do more of these. I love them so much. They are so pretty. So pretty. But I'm not going to stitch them in order, and I'm not in any hurry. I did a monthly series a little while ago, and I was always like 1 month ahead. That was stressful. I don't want that stress in my life. So I'm just going to do when I feel like it. I'm going to pick one. But this, getting it done, really makes me feel like it. So I might have to pick up a teapot soon. But yeah, that's beautiful. I love it. I think it really displays the teapot and makes the teapot front and center. But it's an interesting finish too. So I will, if you let me, I'll kind of just stick stuff in frames. I love frames. I collect frames. So I always feel like if you just put it in an interesting frame, you're good. But I also really like the process of finishing. I watch way too much like crafty YouTube. Of course I watch a ton of Flosstube. But I also watch like model train, people that build model train dioramas and sets and villages and everything, and junk journaling and all that. And I love that. And it's so soothing. It's just like calming to the soul, especially these days when you need as much calming to the soul as you can get, right? And this guy was talking about, he made this ginormous Jason Jensen trains, if you're ever looking for just like turn off your brain, watch a guy build a fisherman's hut. He's building something, and he's like, I used to hate doing this one part. Like I hated it, I dreaded it, I put it off to the very end. And then I just started telling myself, I love every part of the process. I love and enjoy every part of the process. And since he started saying to that, he's like, I do love and enjoy every part of the process. At no point am I like, oh God, I gotta do windows or whatever his thing was. It was like, no, I love every part of the process. And so I've been like, I've always kind of liked backstitching. Like, I love what backstitching can do to a piece. But I've started telling myself, like, no, I love backstitching. I love finishing. I love every part of the process. And it is actually a weirdly, like, it makes you believe it. Your brain is very weird. It's very tricksy. All right. So next up, I have a finish. So this is, I don't have the thing in front of me, but I'll put it up here. No, I won't, because I have a finish in front of me. Oh my gosh. This is In Loving Memory by Stoney Creek. I stitched this on 28 count Queen Anne's Lace Lugana from Wichelt Imports. And it is, and I stitched it 1/1, that's why it's so tiny. And I am finishing this as an ornament for a friend who lost his mom recently. And when I lost my mom, we got a like remembrance ornament. And it is such a nice thing if you put up a Christmas tree, if that is your thing. But I wouldn't want something that's around all year round. Does that make sense? That's just like this big blaring reminder. But especially at this time of year when you should be remembering people and you should be, you know, like taking in the year and sharing those things. I think an ornament is so perfect to remember a loved one. So I stitched this for him. He and his mom love to garden. And even though like it's not something I would normally stitch for a man, it's remembrance of his mom. So I feel like that was very appropriate. And it turned out so beautifully. It turned out so because I did so small, it turned out very painterly. Like, this freaking thing won't zoom properly, but like, even those whites, which were miserable. Teeny tiny stitches and it's white on white. Are you kidding me? Miserable. Even those, though, turned out so beautiful. So, yeah. There is, if you look at the actual pattern, there is like a frame, a backstitch frame in like a light blue that makes it a full square. But that made it a little too big to be an ornament, so I'm just going to keep it as a heart. And I'm going to have it finished. So my goal is to finish that up as an ornament for him and deliver it probably over the Thanksgiving holiday. And I hope he really loves it. I love gift stitching. And I think he will really appreciate it. So, and I love gift stitching for people who love it. Isn't that great? All right. One whip. All right. Next up, this is I Want to Believe by Alliton Embroidery. And I was really hoping to have a finish by the end of the year. Not positive that is going to happen. Tears. Here's where I was. Here's where I was. Tears. Every time I pull out something black, I am just astonished by the amount of cat hair. And you'd think I would prep and like get all the cat hair off. I see these lovely ladies that do Flosstubes. Their stuff is beautiful and it's all pristine. I feel like it's me and Total Stitch Show, just like covered in cat hair. So here's where I am. We made progress. Hang on, it's fighting me. We made progress. Oh, and you can kind of see it because of my white shirt. So, came down here, filled in all the way down here. I've reached the bottom of the circle. That's huge. All this blue on black is quite daunting. So there's just a little wedge here to finish. I'm at almost 80% done. I might even be over 80%. Where's my book? This is the Bible of all my stitching. Where am I at? 78%. But it's really coming along. However, I do have I want to finish the In Loving Memory as an ornament. And then I have got to get this crochet blanket done. Have got to get this crochet blanket done. I have 13 rounds left, except the rounds are getting bigger every time. And it's got to be done for Christmas. So things may be taking a backseat. I've been saying, ooh, I really got to put the pedal down on that sucker for about 3 months. I've not put the pedal down, even a little bit. So this one is almost done. I also filled in some more sky, and up here I have reached the spacecraft, and that is filling in quite nicely and rather quickly. This is a very nice stitch. Alliton Embroidery does these really nice like blocks of color. Everything is just very joyful to stitch. Beautiful colors too. But this has been, I started this in November of last year, and it's just not been on my rotation. And I had this whole plan for the year of like, I have this whole rotational plan. I'm going to make progress. These are the ones I'm just going to tackle. No, I didn't. I didn't tackle. I tackled one. I feel like I do not have, I am like so scared of having a ton of whips. I don't like that. I'm not a person who can be like, and here's my 400 whips, some of which have 3 stitches in them. And I'm going to, and I've started 4 new ones today. I just can't. I just can't. Those of you out there, I don't know if it's envy, but it is definitely fascination. Like, tell me all about your life. Tell me about your trauma. Who hurt you? On the other hand, who hurt me? Why am I like this? But, oh, I just realized I'm missing one. I have another whip. Maybe I'll go get it. But I have, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're not going to count that one. 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 whips going right now. That feels massive to me. That feels massive to me. And at the same time, I'm like, some of these are older whips. I really should just be like getting these done. And it's like, okay, you're not adding a ton of new. What are you doing? Where's all your time going? What are you finishing? I don't know. Truly at a loss. I feel like I'm productive. I don't know. I'm just going to drink tea. What do I do with my time? Oh my, I'm sitting here in like an existential crisis. What do I do with my time? Crazy. Let me see how many finishes I've had this year. This is not going to make me happy. All right, if I count in loving memory, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know there's one that's not in this book. That's an all-time low for me. What the hell? Well, I started a bunch of new stuff to make myself feel better. So maybe that's why people have 400 whips. Because they just look at this nonsense and are just disheartened. I'm good. I started a bunch of new stuff. All right. I'm going to do the new stuff because I'm talking about it. And then I might go find that whip. Or I might wait till next time. I don't know. bleh, bleh. This day, this week, my car broke. Oh wait, no. Did I remember it? I remembered it. I did. My car broke. I'm sick. Feel sorry for me. I also need to stitch. We just put up Christmas decorations because in this household we can't get our shit together enough. So we just go from Halloween to Christmas because it'll take us about 4 weeks to get all the Christmas stuff up. So I need to stitch more like winter and Christmas stuff. That's what I've been shown. All right, next whip, I had 2 whips, is Eat Crow by Plum Street Samplers. And this is where I was. I've put that stuff up while I was rambling. And here's where I am. I'm going to call this episode like Lauren in Crisis. It's going to have my smiling face on the front. Like, oh, everything's great in Crisis. Here's where I am. So, I have filled in a ton of the pumpkin and we have a tiny little bit of pumpkin left. Worked on the border here. I can't remember if the buzzard was completely done last time, but he is now. And yeah, I changed the wording. So Eat Crow is part of a twin. It's part of a set of 2. And the other one has a crow standing with a crown on and everything. And it says buzz off. And the buzzard says eat crow. And it's like they're arguing. It's very cute. It's very adorable. But I don't really need the crow side. I have tons of crows. Nobody does buzzards. I love this buzzard so much. He's just the king of... And I thought, well, if I'm not going to have the other half, Eat Crow is like a joke I'm going to be constantly explaining. Like, oh, there's another part and I don't have that part, but I kept... So I just decided it makes more sense if it just says buzz off. Like, the joke is complete on the page. And yeah, he's so cute and he looks... It's so pissy. Like, buzz off is so pissy and I love him. So yeah, he is coming out. Can you tell I love to stitch autumn and autumn? And yeah, he's almost done. I am at 64% on him. And it's really just filling in, sorry, bump the camera. Filling in these flowers over here and border. The border's pretty thick, pretty chunky border. I'm stitching this on 14 count Misty Taupe Aida from, I think this is just Charles Craft Aida. I think Misty Taupe is one of theirs. And I did a color conversion to, it calls for a lot of, oh, what are they called? Classic Colorworks colors. I thought my local shop carried Classic Colorworks. I was sure of it. Got there, they did not, so I just converted on the fly. So I'm using Weeks Dye Works and Gentle Arts. And it's really not, I tried to do a pretty one-to-one conversion. It's really not that noticeable. So it's coming out beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I love this buzzard. Today is a rambly day. Such is life. I haven't seen you guys in a while. I have a stitching journal and I make pages for all my stitches. Here's my page for Eat Crow. So it's got a skull, crown, this super creepy postcard. This postcard is a sketch from Vincent van Gogh that was like a vintage postcard. So I put the sunflowers. Turned out really good. But I love how creepy this tree is. You can just picture a big buzzard there. I don't know. I looked down and saw it. You guys are here for me. All right. Next up. So, I really was in a stitchy slump. Felt like again, like I just kind of realized I'm pedaling this bike as hard as I can and I'm not getting anywhere. I haven't had a finish in months, which is super unusual for me. Like I feel like I regularly finish stuff and fully finish stuff. So that was really like making me feel there are people that are like process oriented, just the process is motivating. I find the end result very motivating. And so I was feeling less and less motivated the less and less I finished, for obvious reasons, I think. And so I was like, you know what? I'm in this slump. I can't seem to get out of it. Everybody seems to agree. The cure for a slump is new starts. So I'm doing hashtag New Start November. Really should post my other photos. And it's my third week of November this week. It's November 19th. And so I will be starting my third piece today. And then there'll be 2 more. So I'll end up with 5 new starts. And the goal of this new starts was no gift stitches. Because I have a couple of those lined up that I could, no. It has to be something that I've really wanted to do, that is exciting for me. And another, so it either has to be really exciting for me, something I've wanted to do, something I wanted to start, and I just keep telling myself, no, get a couple whips done first. Or I have a pretty chunky fabric collection. As I said at the beginning, I'm a mystery box addict, and so I always go for the like extra fabric. And because of that, I have all this beautiful fabric. But when I pick a pattern and I'm like, okay, what fabric will this pattern work on? Just by my nature, I tend to go for black or like a neutral or like maybe a navy. Like that's my happy territory. I want the stitches to speak. And this time I was like, no, pick the fabric first. So I'll show you my first start. So I picked my fabric first and they said, now go through all your saved patterns on Etsy, go through all your saved patterns in your notebook of all like my print patterns, you know, whatever you've already purchased, go through your library, find a pattern that fits this fabric. So the fabric I chose, let me see if I can get you a good, is, ooh, isn't that so beautiful? This is Sunflower from BeStitchMe. It is a 28 count lugana. 28 counts my jam. And here's what I chose. This is You Rock by Stitchrovia. I've loved this pattern forever. And I thought, damn, if that won't go on this gorgeous, like, neon yellow, sunshiny fabric, nothing will. So, we got it started. So here's my start. I worked on it just like 2 evenings. And already you can tell once the orange is like filled in around that yellow, it's just going to be beautiful. It's just going to pop. And then all the black and gray will really just emphasize the yellow. And I just love it. I just think that is going to be gorgeous. This fabric, I will gush over BeStitchMe fabrics all day. They are so lovely. Yeah. And so that's my little start, my first hashtag New Start November. I know some people do like every day. I just do 1 a week because, God, I can't imagine doing 1 a day. And yeah, it made me super happy. I also came to it from this. Like I had been just like, okay, here's one of the reasons I haven't been making progress. This sucker, I've needed to get it done just for the holiday. So I pretty much only worked on this. And I was stitching this 1 over 1. I'm stitching this 2 over 2. It was like my eyes could relax. I was like, everything is so big and visible and lovely. I was so happy. I was so happy working on this. So I can't wait to get this back out. It was a super fun start. And picking the fabric first is definitely something I'm going to keep doing in the future. I have such beautiful fabric. I love collecting fabric. Doesn't do anything if you don't use it. Just sits in my thing. Got this cool box. I also got this cool bag. This one was from a Black Needle Society, like, I think this was our back to the 80s, like, regular old subscription box. I didn't do an unboxing for that, and I don't usually for Black Needle Society, because I haven't been that impressed, and I don't want to be super negative. But also, so I finally just was like, this isn't worth my time or money. So I don't have them anymore. But also, look at my needle minder. It's a little record player, and it's orange and everything. Like, it's so perfect. It's so perfect. So, super happy. Super happy. Ah, it's falling. Everything's falling down. This vinyl bag is very slippery. All right. And then for the second week, I started one that I had on my queue. Jesus. Okay, I have to tell a story. I have to stop. I have to tell a story. Can you see? It's not picking up that well because it's not focusing, which is actually very kind. This bag is so hairy. I just picked it up and threw it in the pile. And, oh, check out my awesome charm. Look at my awesome charm. This is a BeStitchMe charm. Love it. My sister's cat is an all-white cat who suffers from terrible anxiety. Absolutely awful anxiety. And recently we got her one of those like hormonal calming collars. We tried treats for a long time, like hemp treats and calming treats and blah, blah, blah treats. And a lot of those treats have like melatonin in them. So they just make the cat like go to sleep. And very quickly she was like, I don't like those. I won't eat those. We tried hiding them in good treats. She'd pick them out. She would not take them. And so her anxiety was so bad. And this collar has been great. It's been a huge difference. But because of that, she just like will lay at my feet and waller all over my bags. Just like this is her emotional support bag. If there's a project bag laying on like my footstool, that project bag is covered in cat hair now. Absolutely caked. She is like, oh, a project bag. My favorite emotional support project bag. Let me just lay all over it and rub my face on it. And of course it's black. So, all right. So second week start was Dungeon Master. This is by StitchItPicasso. And my sister got me the whole set of D&D classes for Christmas last year. Something I really want to do we have a big game room where we play RPGs, and she got me the whole set. And so I'm going to start with Dungeon Master so that nobody in our game would be like, oh, they're your favorite. But all of, I'm going to do all our characters' party first. The one, not sad thing, just thing I have to keep in mind is that we play Pathfinder, which is a very D&D-like. It actually started, like, grew from D&D. But they have way more classes than D&D does. And so I need to switch them up a little bit so that I can get them right. So, like, whereas if you've ever played D&D or familiar with it or watched podcasts or anything like that, there's, like, your standard, your fighter, your barbarian, your wizard, your druid. But then Pathfinder has, like, the swashbuckler and the oracle and the, what's another one? Alchemist and, who else am I missing? They have like 5 more. Come on, Lauren. You play this game literally all the time. Swashbuckler is I know one I need because a guy in our group is a swashbuckler. They're just like completely blanking. Investigator is one. And it's super cool. It's all like noticing and putting clues together and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they have a ton more. I need to make them so that I can have the complete set. Or get StitchItPicasso to design me some more stuff. I don't know, maybe I need to do that. So anyway, here's my little start. And I'm just doing this one on a scrap of 18 count easy grid Aida that I just had. I really wanted it to be 18 count because that's the perfect size to have many of these on a wall. And so I just looked for a piece of 18 count that was the right size. And it's full coverage, so I'm not really like worried about what was underneath it. And yeah, it is coming along super good. I love the colors blue, and it's super fun. It's super easy. It just goes. It's like potato chip stitching. I might have to do one little color conversion because up here is like cream and off-white to make those sunburst rays. And granted, I have an amount of color blindness, but that just doesn't seem like enough of a differentiation to make that sunburst. So it's just not enough for me. So I might have to up the contrast there. All right. I think that's everything. I think I have rambled at you about literally everything. I'm starting my 3rd week start tonight. And I'm really going to try and get back on track to be every 2 weeks again. I've said that before. Holidays are coming up, so, I mean, who the hell knows where that's actually going to fall, right? But if I do that, that means I'll be like super short my next episode. So who the hell knows? Who knows what I'll have? I will definitely have at least one new start. So there's that. And hopefully I'll have this finished up, ready to go. In the future, however, looking into next year, I may not be as consistent, or I might go back to like once a month, because I am working on a really big project that I am super excited about. And I can't wait to share with my little tiny community here. And so keep an eye out for that. I'm going to tease it because I'm really hoping to hear some stuff back. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. And I hope it will be a super great adventure that I can go on with you all. So, until next time, I hope you all, if you're in the U.S. and you're celebrating Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving, Girlsgiving, Guysgiving, like, I hope you have a wonderful time. I hope it's uplifting. I hope you have time to just enjoy some time off and downtime. If you're not, I hope you do that anyway. I hope you do it anyway. Screw it. Make a holiday. Other than that, stay safe. Stay sane. Bye.